like fungus and virus and bacteria in your gut, and correlating that stuff with a data set that's unparalleled, because no one's ever gotten all that data at all, much less mixed it along with knowledge about behaviors and things. So there's this huge wave of knowledge, and you're doing this for sleep and for stress and recovery. And it's that has me just like this is world changing stuff. And even 40 Years of Zen, which is one of my other portfolio companies, the stuff that does high-end, high-performance executive neurofeedback, we're getting these brain states from like world-leading meditators and gurus and CEOs and people, and looking with machine learning at patterns in their brains, so that we like, what are the things that high performers actually do? And no one's ever done that. And so it's happening across every field, but you guys, I think, are the leader right now because of your form factor.
Yes.
What else are you going to tell us from all this big data? Like, what else is on your horizon for cool stuff besides?
Yeah, so our target is to really get to personalized guidance, so that we really get deep into your biology and physiology, so that we can reflect with the product, we can reflect back to you how you are doing and how you can help yourself. So that's our passion, really, to have a product or have a solution that you can self-reflect and become more self-aware. What's happening in your body when in relation to your lifestyle? So whatever you do in your life, how your body is responding to that, and be kind of a best validation tool for you to explore different kind of things, and then see what's the response from your body, because we are all unique. And we really respect this uniqueness, and we want to bring it back to people, so kind of people can start respecting their uniqueness. Chronotype is one thing, but as in your company, you are respecting the uniqueness of all your employees, having their characteristics. I don't remember what kind of name you used for that, but anyhow, you have your chronotypes and so on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we get the Colby score,
exactly.
Which shows your instincts for how much data you need to make a decision. And we share this. Everyone knows everyone else's chronotypes and our love language. Like it's kind of ridiculous, but it really helps you interact, because these are deep wiring things.
And also that the people have different response to stress, and of course life situations change all the time, and the stress response in our body, let's say our dynamics and capacity, vary over the time depending on the life situations. So we want our users to be aware of those things, and then look forward that okay, I'm aware of what's happening in my body right now, so I know what kind of small things I can do to improve.
I would make the argument that it is a moral imperative to hack yourself, which just means driving awareness and then making the changes that are painless to improve how you feel, how much energy you have. And I'd also argue, and this is a bit controversial, that as an entrepreneur, as an employer, ethical and moral to hack your employees. So anything I can do in the environment that, like, we're opening our new headquarters in Seattle soon. And so I just spent a bunch of time with our lighting engineer to have the most biologically compatible lighting possible. And it's directly affecting the biology of the people who support the Bulletproof mission. So I feel obligated to do the very best I can. And there's no diet soda.
Exactly.
I don't care if someone wants to drink it. I'm not paying for it. All right. Like stuff like that. Like, how could we not all be doing this because we care about each other? Like all right. Flip side of that. Now, let's say that I'm a big bad company spraying toxins on our soil and our crops. We're talking about glyphosate here. Now, if I got all my employees to wear the Oura Ring and I required that they sent their data to me so I could track, is there like a downside to having all this data? Are you worried about privacy issues, or because you're in Scandinavia where they actually value privacy?
Yes, actually, we value privacy a lot, and we want always that the user is owning the data and also consenting the access to the data to those, let's say, those people or those coaches or doctors that they want to themselves. But we never want to, we don't want to go to that kind of arena that your data would be mishandled by someone to read something. I don't know even. Yeah.
Well, it's the idea is it's your data, and this is something. When you're listening right now, it's really worth thinking about another paradigm shift, and Aura's is on top of this. All of your data about your biology, including your medical lab tests, it's your data. It's not your doctor's data. And the traditional patriarchal, just kind of evil perspectives, when you have to go to your doctor, get a permission slip to know about what's going on in your body. The doctor gets the data and decides if you get to see it, and they get a copy and they can do whatever they want with it. Not okay. Yeah. I keep mentioning Viome because they did the same thing you're doing, where they're getting data about what's growing in your body, and they give it to you on the webpage, and they will not give it to your doctor. You actually have to choose to share it with your doctor with the share button, which is completely like a middle finger to the entire paradigm that we had before. And I love it that you're honoring the fact that our data is ours. And this is something for everyone listening here. Anytime you're gathering this data, if you're going to get a life insurance policy, if you're going to get a health insurance policy, or any other thing like that, you should be allowed to disclose or not disclose this stuff as you choose. It is not supposed to be a part of your permanent record. And the whole electronic medical records thing is BS. And thankfully, what you're collecting is not officially medical data. Now, we were talking about temperature. And you didn't mention, because it's medical, two things, but I can mention them because I don't work for Aura and I don't have any business relationship with it, which is awesome, right? And by the way, this is something else you should know as a listener of Bulletproof Radio. There are, depending on what country you're in, there are laws, and they're different, that prevent you from having free speech. It's literally called, in the US, controlled speech. You can't even make this stuff up. So I'm not allowed to tell you what my products do if they affect a medical condition. And in fact, it's illegal to say that any saturated fat, including ones that have 1,000 studies to say they're good for it, it's illegal to say that they're healthy because the definition of healthy means low fat. So what that means is that if you can diagnose medical conditions with the data coming off the ring, the second you say you're diagnosing a medical condition, you become a medical device and you have to charge 10 times more for it and have all these studies. And so by making the data owned by a person and allowing the person to apply algorithms, you're kind of cutting out the middleman here, and kudos to you for doing that. So here's the two things that I'm going to say that you may or may not be able to say. If you wink with your left eye, that means yes. I'm kidding. So one of the things that is profoundly important that was in my own life is thyroid problems, especially Hashimoto's thyroiditis. I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's when I was 26, going back like 18 years or something. And you will see a subclinical thyroid condition where your lab tests are normal. It doesn't matter if you're fat and tired all the time and your eyebrows are falling out. My eyebrows, I don't have the outer part of them because I had thyroid for a long time, thyroid problems. All that stuff, you can see it from nighttime temperature variation. So if your lab tests are within normal but low, but you have symptoms and your temperature is off, it's time to start looking at removing the things that are causing a thyroid problem. That would be whole grains and mold toxins in your environment, and some other things too, but those are big triggers. Or to look at what else is going on. Maybe you want to go on thyroid meds. If your temperature is chronically low, the ring's going to tell you, and then you can go out and solve the problem. But that is massively important. And so I think you're going to find a lot of people with subclinical hypothyroidism. It's a rampant issue right now. It's also tied to light exposure, by the way. If you're looking at bright screens at night, your thyroid can get jacked from that because of your hypothalamus. Second thing was the topic of my first book called The Better Baby Book. And it's fertility. Right? Can you talk about what happens with your nightly temperature if you're a woman? What does it do during the time you're ovulating?
Actually, we have validated that we can see and we can show the menstrual cycles and even detect the ovulation times. So at least it's very useful for females to see the menstrual cycles accurately there in the app, and then they can do what you mentioned in the beginning. The female athletes, especially, they can really concentrate on those exercises that are good in that phase of their menstrual cycle. So I'm not that deep in the biology itself, what's happening in different phases, but it's anyhow a reflection of the hormonal balance that is changing during the period. So females are so, let's say, beautiful creatures. We males are kind of dull in that sense that our variation in our hormonal functions, it's not that interesting, or it's not that big like females. So they are beautiful creatures in that sense that is needed for fertility and for many other things, kind of what it can reflect and in relation to your sleep and readiness, how your menstrual cycles are affecting them. So there are plenty of different kind of insights that you can derive from that.
For a long time, I've believed, just from observation, women are much better biohackers than men.
Yes.
Because the self-awareness that's a part of understanding, wait, something just shifted. Because women experience more shifts than men, they tend to be more aware of them. And every woman out there can learn, oh, I'm about to ovulate. And a lot of them know it, but a lot of them don't know it because they've never learned, oh, here's the changes in my body that happen, 5 days before, 4 days, 3 days. Okay, I'm probably in my ovulation window now in the next day or two, and then I'll be fertile for a couple days after. You go back 50 or 100 years, pretty much most women learn this because it was the only reliable method of birth control was, well, when I'm fertile, don't have sex. There was an interesting podcast recently where we talked about post-birth control pills syndrome. And it turns out if you're on the birth control pill, you'll see changes in the fluctuation of your temperature. But if you choose to go off the pill, and I would tell you, if you want to lower your risks of cancer, like the pill is not a longevity strategy that's very effective for women. Like it comes at a greater health cost later in life that isn't well disclosed. So if you decided you wanted to allow your body's hormonal rhythms to work, but you wanted to know the time when you would be most fertile so you can have a child if you're looking to, or the time you're most fertile to not have a child when you don't want to, your temperature fluctuations from a ring can actually show you when that's happening. So then you can be like, oh, this is what it feels like when I'm about to ovulate. And once you have that, if you're a woman who's clued into how her body's feeling, you'll probably know without the ring. But it's that really cool signal, like, I think I've got this. Now I've got the data to show me I've got this. Now I can put this feeling together with this biological state. That's what it is. And then you've got it. And that's precious stuff.
Yes.
All right. Let's shift gears and talk about sleep, which, funny enough, also but influences your thyroid function and your fertility. Now, you have a sleep score, and going back to the days of Zeo, which was the first sleep monitor I used, is this headband you'd wear that got EEG. Ben Rubin is a friend who's the founder of that. And I was always annoyed because the sleep score was based on 8 hours of sleep. But we know people who live the longest sleep 6.5 hours a night, and different people need different amounts of sleep depending on their stress level. So I talked to Ben, and this is going back years, and I actually changed the algorithm, at least how to calculate it. So if I only wanted 5 hours of sleep, what was my sleep score for the 5 hours I wanted versus 8 hours or 10 hours? So how do you calculate a sleep score? So when I wake up in the morning, it says, you got whatever your sleep score was. What does that actually mean? Like, give me a little bit of detail.
Yeah, actually, the sleep score is there are at least seven different contributors that affect or formulate the sleep score. So the total sleep is only one of them. Efficiency, disturbances, amount of REM sleep, deep sleep, and sleep latency, when you go to sleep, how quickly you fall asleep. And then sleep timing, which is a reflection to your chronotype. So how much variance there's in the when you go to bed, when you wake up. So total sleep is only one factor there. And it doesn't have that big, say, influence to the score itself. We try to reflect more about the restorativeness of your sleep. So
Beautiful.
so how kind of efficient sleep you get in the time that you are in the bed.
So good sleep is better than more sleep that's not good.
Yeah.
And you're tracking that in the score.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah, it's a combination of many things, and we know that one of the biggest questions